in Benson Park, which is north of Port Moody, Port Coquitlam. And what are we doing here?
I'm just gonna hang out, play some frisbee.
But what are we doing in BC? Honestly, I still haven't figured that out yet. So the van is like mostly, yeah, the van's done. The van's livable, as we've been living in it since December. But being in the cold was getting really taxing, not only on us, but also just the van systems. It's been a lot nicer to exist in warmer weather, a lot easier in the van, not worrying about freezing all the time, even though we are in warmer weather.
We're just gonna talk about what we do when it's really cold outside in the van.
But first, let's go on a hike. Where are we? Just everything here is so stunning. It's hard not to stop all the time and take another picture. Wet as the lens. Ooh. I apologize for how terrible this is gonna look.
What do you mean looking terrible? I look perfect.
Okay. We're gonna need to clean up a bit before I finish this video. It's not dinner time yet.
It's not dinner time.
Silly.
Do you want a treat?
It might not be dinner time, but it can be time for us to talk about the main topic of this video, which is
Heard happy.
which is how we stay warm while being in the van. Yeah, actually film me for a little bit. It's also selfie. So the first way that we stay warm, this one's a little bit obvious, is we... Oh. People were there. It's embarrassing when there's people there. All right. So the first way that we have been able to stay warm while being in the van is... go to a warm place. How was that?
That was good.
I understand it's not always an option just to be able to pick up and leave. We did have a family situation that was keeping us in Winnipeg throughout most of January. As soon as we could, drove out west to BC here. Being in a warmer climate made living in the van so much easier. I mean, it's been sunny the whole week, but today it's raining. But beyond that, let's talk about some of the things that we did to the van itself to help us survive the super cold climates. I'm gonna close this now. What?
The next thing that we did was put in a temporary gray tank, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So underneath the van, we have a gray tank that is 20 gallons. However, when it is really cold, the gray water tank is outside, so it will freeze. So instead of using the gray water tank in really cold temperatures, we use this 5-gallon gray water tank that we attach underneath the sink, and it diverts the water from the gray water tank outside into this one. It's smelly. I don't like that. And then we empty this one every 2-ish days instead.
And how annoying is this?
Well, you know what? Evan empties it.
Can confirm this thing is definitely annoying, but it's a necessity, and it allows us to live without having to deal with frozen gray water all the time.
Nice.
So, next thing. So while our freshwater tanks are inside the van and are at less risk of freezing, there still is the problem of filling the fresh tanks because the fill port is outside the van. To remedy, I put together this little contraption. It's just a little water pump with a switch. So I use this pump. We probably have some good footage of me like actually using this. Cue that footage here. we have this pump, and then we have a few of these 5-gallon freshwater tanks. So what we can do is we can bring this inside a house or business, a friend's place, wherever where there's a tap, and then we can carry them inside the van. Once we bring them inside the van, we then connect it all to, oh.
I put the dog's dirty thing on.
Oh,
sorry.
and the wool is here. Let's redo this scene.
Oh
my. And then we connect this pump, this end, into this little hole here. Then we plug this 12-volt socket into one of the sockets in the van. And then this end, we stick into the tanks. And then I turn the pump, and then it pumps the water from this into the interior freshwater tanks we have inside the van. Not only does it mean it's easier to access fresh water, because when you're in freezing climates, all of the outdoor taps and faucets, they're frozen and turned off, so you can't use them anyways. Then it also allows me to fill the water tanks from inside a warm vehicle instead of me standing outside the cold vehicle and then pumping the water from there. It is a little bit cumbersome, but it is better than not being able to get any water at all.
Alrighty, next we have our window coverings. So we have 2 different types of window coverings. Oh my god. Oh. We have these WeatherTech ones. These actually are a friction fit, so they literally just go on our windows. And on one side is black and one side is silver, so that in the winter we will put the silver on the inside to reflect warmth in, and silver goes on the outside in the summer to reflect warmth out. Now we also have a few.
Wait a second. This truck is making lots of noise.
Our fan club out there. We have some factory windows. So there's one here and then there's 2 at the back. And so we got these custom made window coverings. And as you can hear, they have reflecty stuff inside. And they have magnets on the ends so that when we want to cover our windows to keep it warm, which is always, yeah, that's precarious. We attach it. Like so. Nice strong magnet.
Windows are terrible heat loss, so you just have to cover them somewhere or another. The next thing we did to keep the van warm, I mean, we did this early on, it's not something you can add in later. This probably should have been the first point. We insulated the van. Well, we insulated the ceiling and the walls with wool. We insulated the floor with hard foam. I did choose wool for a reason. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive and harder to get, but I love how when you're working with wool, it literally smells like a farm in here. I also love how malleable it is. Not only do they come in bats, so it can be easier to put in bigger sections, but if you want to fill smaller holes, you can just rip off a little bit. So there were some cavities in the back of the van that I had to fill. As soon as I stuffed some wool in there, it made a big difference of stopping any backdrafts, and just, it's so important.
Okay, so one of the other gadgets that Evan got for the van to help monitor temperature is something called, what's it called? Sensi?
Sensor push.
Sensor push. And it's just this little thingy that you just put around, and then it's like a temperature monitor. So then it sends the temperature into Evan's phone, like magic. So it's nice to have your eye on what temperature certain things are, especially in the garage area, right?
And also, it also tracks. When you click on the app. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the big thing with this app, I can always go back and see what was the lowest temperature of that night, the week. It gives me so much peace of mind. It allows me to sleep better.
Welcome to our control panel. This is our
You're doing your presenter voice.
Welcome to Webasto. We have a Webasto heater, which, from what I understand, takes gas from the gas tank and turns it into heat and puts it into our van. Am I right? Yeah, boy! What we like so much about it is that it takes such a minuscule amount of gas from the gas tank to do its job, and electrical wise too, it's not really taking very much energy at all. The vents are right here. You can close it, you can move it around, and our other one is over kind of down there. It's hiding by our toilet. But what I like so much about why Evan put one in here is that it helps dry our towels. And when we're showering in the van, we'll turn the heat on blast. And so the water doesn't even really need to be that hot, and we can have it running really slowly, and the whole room is hot. Like Bermuda. Beep.
All right. The next thing that has been really important in surviving the winter in the extreme cold has been a few extra heating devices that I have installed. First, a little bit of context. Like I mentioned, we have 40 gallons of water. That light there is one 20-gallon tank, and that light there is another 20-gallon tank. There is a water line that goes between them up against the floor. Just see this? I mean, I'll probably have some build footage of this too that we can use.
Cue it.
In that channel between the tanks is water pipe connecting them, but the big problem is that pipe is up against a cold floor and is really susceptible to freezing. If that happens, we have no flowing water. So alongside that pipe, I have something called heat trace wire. The rest of this is just heat wire, like Lola, it's okay. At the end, this is a temperature sensor. When the temperature detects that the ambient temperature is like 4 degrees or 3 degrees, this whole wire will heat up. And I measured it once and it like brings it up to like 40 or 50 degrees. It's pretty warm. So the great thing is when I have this plugged in, it's not on all the time. It's only on when that gets cold. On each freshwater tank, I have a heating pad, which are also thermostatically controlled, so that if the tanks get too cold, they also won't freeze solid. So one more thing that I added while we were on the road, I noticed that my temperature sensor close to one of the water lines, even though the garage was staying about like 5 degrees, there was one corner that was dipping below 0. I got this really small personal heater from Kitty and Union Tire for like 20 bucks. The great thing about this is it's only, the lowest mode is like 170 watts. It doesn't draw so much power that I'll have dead batteries in the morning. This is only like necessary in nights where it's like minus 30, minus 40. The last thing are these winter tires. With the stock all seasons that I had that came with the van, we could barely get out of like our driveway. The moment I put these on, it's like the van was hugging the road. I have had no issues since having this. When it comes to getting winter tires, spend the money on some good ones. Then you don't have to spend money on a tow truck or someone to help you to get you out of a bad situation. Ooh, you're wet.
That's what she said. Well, that is
9
ways that we keep our van warm and toasty with those really cold nights.
The most significant being here in BC. And what is going to follow this is some more videos on how we're doing van life out here in BC and getting to know this van that
You made.
I made.
Bye. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thanks for watching.
Let's
Goodbye.
go get, oh my goodness. Let's go get
Lola! Were you concerned? I know.